Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Lolo Loves Films livecast. I am Lolo.
And I'm Big J.
And today we are here not with our normally scheduled program as usual on a fine Wednesday night, but we are here with another Get to Know a Cinephile segment. This segment is going to be with William from FilmSnobReviews. So please, William, say hello to your adoring audience.
Oh, hello, and I appreciate your adulation.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh,
Well,
hi,
thank you for
Ma.
joining us.
Oh, thank you guys for inviting me on. I really appreciate that. I look forward to a nice evening of fun questions and a little bit of delinquency as well, of course.
As are we, and I know that you have. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and I'm glad that you decided to finally take the plunge and join us here on our show. So, yeah, why don't we get right into the thick of it by asking the number one question we always ask? Of course, the dog's going to start barking right as we push play. What is your favorite movie, and also what is your least favorite movie, and what movies do you absolutely hate? Take your time, answer as many different ones as you need to. The floor is yours.
That's pretty easy. I mean, honestly, there's a laundry list of possible films that could go in that list, but I would count the original Star Wars trilogy as one movie, just so that we can move on to other things on there. But those are my favorite movies of all time. They had such an impact on me, especially my formative years. Stuff like, but I'm really into stuff like Eternal Sunshine, 500 Days of Summer. It happened one night. I'm pretty much I'm a freaking sucker for romantic comedies. It's weird. I don't know why. As far as like stuff I don't like, I'm not a fan of like those Friedberg Seltzer parodies, like Meet the Spartans, etc.
Yeah.
But I really hate the last two films by Terrence Malick, Night of Cups and Song to Song. They're cinematic masturbation at its highest.
Oh, really?
They're really
The
bad.
partner and me on that one.
Well, we haven't seen the last two, but I know that Big J is not a fan of Terrence Malick in general. So,
Yeah,
well,
no, I mean Thin Red Line's okay, but like stuff like even most of Tree of Life is just like, do I need to see another nebula? I swear to God, if I see another nebula, oh look, there is another nebula. Oh God, oh God, I hate them. I don't understand them. I mean, and I'm not a stupid movie viewer where I'm like I don't get it, and so I don't like it. I get what he's trying to do. I just don't. I think he's trying too hard to do it. Do you know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. If you had to pick your favorite Terrence Malick movie, it's I think probably going to be an easy task since you are not a fan of several of them. It seems like. What's your
Um,
favorite Terrence Malick movie if you had to pick one?
Thin Red Line or New World. I like both of those.
Interesting choice. Interesting. I remember not liking A New World, but we need to rewatch it. So,
I don't think we ever finished A New World. I think we only saw half of it.
did we?
I think so.
I like.
Well, why are those your two favorites?
Well, New World, I just like the story. Pocahontas, John Smith done correctly. I really like just the whole vibe and the aesthetics that he's been known for. Working with that seems to work really well. And of course, I'm a sucker. I like war movies, and Thin Red Line's one of the best war movies ever made. So,
Do you think
I mean,
it's
that's pretty
better than
simple.
Saving Private Ryan?
No, I don't. But that just comes down to storytelling devices used. I think Spielberg uses sound and the sound of war and the imagery of war a little bit better. But I do think that Thin Red Line, first, as a story, is told a little bit better.
Interesting. And so you said Star Wars are your favorite movies. They
Oh
kind
yeah,
of were your childhood, you said?
yeah. I mean, pretty much. When I think of my childhood, I think of me running around like a little nerd trying to be Han Solo. Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're speaking of your childhood, what is the first movie you actually remember seeing in the theater, and how old were you when you saw it?
So that's funny because it was The Empire Strikes Back, and it was the 25th anniversary release in '95. So I would have been like 8.
Huh.
It was pretty amazing. It was just it's something that's so vivid. I may have seen a movie before that, but the one I remember with vividly is me and my brother and my hero, who is my father, seeing what I consider the greatest sequel ever made, all together, just having a great guys' night out, and it changed my life.
That's awesome. So, would you say that the Star Wars trilogy then is your favorite trilogy in general, or
Yeah, I
is there
would, but
something
I
else
mean,
that's your favorite?
I mean, I would say that, but there's great trilogies out there, isn't there? Lord of the Rings, Toy Story. There's great trilogies out there.
Hmm.
But I still think the original Star Wars one is the template for which all the other ones are trying to ascend to.
Is it that first memory that really makes it stick with you? I mean, I know there's certain keys when you watch a movie, and the ones that stick with you have like certain markers, like you said with your dad and your brother. Is that one of the reasons why you love Star Wars, or is it just the
I
whole
mean,
overall universe.
I mean, the universe helps. I mean, this world that George Lucas created in these original 3 movies is a world that you can get lost in for hours. And I think that as a little kid, that when you don't have, you don't enjoy the world around you, you can absorb yourself into that, and that becomes, by proxy, your world. And I think that is a really cool thing for a young man, especially living in Los Angeles like I did at the time, and that's where I'm from. Crafting these stories and wanting to be in this world is really just an interesting way to look at the world from those rose-colored glasses,
Yeah.
But I think
I like that, and I like that you know that not only is that your favorite movie right off the bat, but that you have that memory. I think that film and movies in general are those memories, and that you can carry that with you for the rest of your life. You saw this with your father, your family, you had a good time. I just think that it adds a level of depth to the movie as a whole. Wouldn't you agree with that, or is that just too schmaltzy?
Oh no! See, you're going to learn here as we go. I like the schmaltz, and so I totally agree with you on that. I think that it does elevate it a little bit, knowing that these are what connected me to the people who were important in my life growing up. I think that's really, like you said, it's schmaltzy, but it's also very true.
Yeah. So, moving on from schmaltzies, we could talk about schmaltzies and talk about your favorite genre movies if you want. We can go, what is your favorite, like, schmaltzy romantic movie?
Okay,
Or romantic comedy?
So I like romantic comedies, and if I had to, name some of the ones that I like, I would definitely throw in like The Apartment. I love that movie so much. Like I remember the first time I saw that, I just couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, you can do that? You can be that? You can make a movie that says those things? I mean, there's a scene where Jack Lemmon is giving Shirley MacLaine back her mirror, and he says to her, "Hey, I think this is yours," and she's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Oh, your mirror's broken," and she says, "Yeah, I like that. Like, I like the way I look in that broken mirror," to suggest that she's a broken woman, and that's how she sees herself. I don't think that in 1960, when this movie came out, that was a theme that was very relevant, and I think that's something that wasn't caught on very much by the audiences because it's just so damn charming. But I think that as the modern audiences watch it, they'll notice those things.
Yeah, I mean, that movie dealt with a lot of themes that probably weren't touched upon until that movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
They've been touched upon a lot since in cinema, but not before
Yeah.
The Apartment came out. It's one of those movies that kind of is a big marker in history that kind of broke ground to new things.
As it should be, and I think two of my other favorite movies in that genre are It Happened One Night, which basically is the template for romantic comedies in general.
Yes. Yes.
I think it's one of the most charming and beautiful movies ever made, and I freaking adore this movie. Oh my god, it's one of the only. Isn't it so good?
Heck yeah, so good.
It's so good. And then when you hear the story behind Clark Gable's acceptance of the Oscar, just like 2 or 3 days after Carol Lombard died, it's just an amazing story. Like, his wife literally just died, and he was up there accepting that award. It's heartbreaking a little bit, and I think that it is the bar for romantic comedies. I think I don't think there'll ever be one that does what that one did, as far as like how many awards it won. And then of course, I'm a big fan of Spike Jonze. He's not my favorite director, and not even close, but I love Her. My God, that is another movie that again changed that genre of romantic comedies into something that's. Love does not have to be a tangible thing with a tangible person. It can be a feeling that you have, and that's what I take from it. I know a lot of people have different interpretations because I wrote a 3,000 word thesis on this thing.
You did. Whoa.
Which yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Was that just because, or was that for school, or was that for your website, or?
It's currently on our website. You can read it whenever you want, and I make the argument that it is, in fact, a romantic comedy, even though some would call it a black comedy or even a drama.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a romantic element. I mean, it is a romance in every sense, pretty much, and then I think it's a comedy. It could be a romantic, dark comedy, but it's definitely has its humorous moments as well.
I think that Her will also be one of those movies like It Happened One Night, maybe 50, 60, 70 years down the line, where people will say that's the movie that changed things for the genre because it is so different, because it does deal with things like William said, it's not, shows that love's not just between a person and a person, that it's something much more than that.
Yeah.
That I love that movie, and I remember leaving the theater thinking, "Oh my God, what did we just watch? That is such a good movie." You gave some great. That's some great stuff there. And so, kind of to continue that question, then, what is or are your favorite romantic movie moments? I know you mentioned the one about the mirror. Do you have any other ones specifically?
Okay, so there's a lot of moments I could think of. In particular, I really love the and this is not a romantic moment necessarily, but it is a moment in a movie. In 500 Days of Summer, there's the reality expectations scene, which I think is one of the most brilliant pieces of filming in the last 10 years. Basically, Tom and Summer are no longer together. Summer invites Tom to a rooftop party, and Tom, on the left-hand side, has what he expects to happen, and on the right-hand side, we see what actually happens. I don't know. Have you guys seen the movie? You familiar with this scene?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. And so as we go through the night, we start to see Tom on the left side be happy, talk to Summer, chatting it up. But on the right side, the reality side, all that's happening is he's getting lonely, despondent. He's drinking too much, and he's just going to finish the night with him and a bottle of beer. And I think that it is the most sobering of experiences to see a character like Tom, who is so naive and is so out of his element, suffer such a gigantic loss of personal self-respect, basically. I think that he lost a lot of his self-respect on that, and I think that it's just such a scathing and sobering experience for him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, 500 Days of Summer does take a pretty honest look at romance, which most romances, or like romantic comedies especially, are filled with like the unrealistic expectations of love, and it's
The HEA, the happily ever after.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And this one is one that brings it down and has kind of a much more sobering look, and it's not so it's not so cheery all the time, and knows that it's not real. The grand romantic gesture doesn't really work.
And I brought two more with that. The second one is from one of my favorite movies of all time, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is absolutely breathtaking film. There's a scene where at the end of the movie, and spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't seen this 12-year-old movie, but there's a scene at the end when they discover that maybe they know each other, and they've been in this life before, when Clementine starts making excuses as to why they're not going to work out, and Jim Carrey, who plays Joel, just gives the best answer ever. He just says, "Okay." Mm-hmm. He says, "Okay," and that's it. And it's amazing. And the last scene I brought with me is, of course, Jesse and Celine. We got to talk about Before Midnight. And there's a scene in the bedroom where he says, "I've given you my whole life. I cannot give you any more. What else do you want from me?" That's soul crushing. It's amazing. Like, what else could she possibly want from Jesse? He's given her everything. Everything that he's ever had and ever will be is Celine. And I love Richard Linklater, and I love the Before trilogy, and I don't think it gets enough love because it's brilliant. It's amazing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I feel like those movies are kind of niche in a way, because when we talk to people in real life, not cinephiles on the internet, it seems like people aren't really that aware of Richard Linklater or the Before trilogy, especially Before Midnight. Like the first two, I feel like those were from a long time ago, quote unquote. And the new one, it seems like it just sort of exists and it sort of petered out. But I remember seeing that one specifically in the theater. Like you said, there are moments in not just that movie, but in all three of those movies that are soul crushing, and they're so realistic and honest that only a solid filmmaker with a ground in reality could make a scene like that. And seeing Richard Linklater, and I'm not even that big of a fan. So
I'm a huge Richard Linklater fan. I can't wait for Last Flight Flying. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about a lot about love lately. So, what is that one movie that made you fall in love with cinema? I mean, is it again The Empire Strikes Back, or is it something else?
It happened one night. It happened one night. Honestly, I didn't know you could make a movie that is basically magic. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know that you could take a film, and you could take two people who are two totally different people, and you could make them a unit of thing. These two things, one thing that is so coherently, perfectly fit together. I didn't know that characters could be molded like this, and I didn't know, and this is thanks to one of my favorite directors, Frank Capra, that you could make a cheesy romance story, both funny, hilariously funny, but also extremely, extremely poignant for 1942 to 2017. That's what I think.
And have it stand the test of time. Exactly. Yeah. That it's so realistic and honest and funny. It is so funny and it's so gorgeous. Funny. It's so good still, even today. It's one of those movies that kind of has transcended time. Even though, some people might cry about how it's a little dated in terms of things that happen, but it's so good. I could fawn all over the movie with you too for like 2 more hours.
It's so good. It's so good. It really is. Like, it's not. And here's my thing. I'm a huge music person. So the score for some of these romantic comedies, especially like 500 Days of Summer, has a great soundtrack, like a great one. Eternal Sunshine has a great one. A lot of these romantic comedies, the good ones at least, have great accompanying music with them to fit them.
Music's a big part of movies. Yeah,
I think so too, and I think yes.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry, there's a little bit of a lag.
I was going to say I think that if you don't have those musical cues, sometimes they're a bit cliched, but I think if you don't have those certain cues that that sweeping music or this or that you miss a lot of things, and you don't get swept up in the romance of it all.
Right.
But
yeah.
I think the music is amazing, and I think that romantic comedies have great music in them. So.
Well, you mentioned Frank Capra, and selfishly, I'll put a plug out for my own self that It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time.
Yes.
I wanted to know, is it one of yours? And also name your favorite Christmas movies. And then I have a 2-parter question, so when you're done, I'll ask you the second part, which is the most important part.
Okay, so Scrooged is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. And I know that you've had guests on this show before who have complained about this movie. But Scrooged is the best Christmas movie ever. And I really like, of course, A Christmas Story. But Scrooged is the answer. Bill Murray is amazing. I will fight anyone who says Scrooge is not the best adaptation of A Christmas Carol.
Well, and if you happen to get knocked out, I will be your backup fighter, and so will you, because we love Scrooge too.
Yeah, we love Scrooge. Lolo's a big fan of Scrooge. I'm a big fan of A Christmas Story, so you hit both of us there.
They're the best. They're honestly, they're amazing. There's several other movies that are pseudo Christmas or not traditional Christmas movies, and I think you're about to ask me about one of those right now, aren't you?
I am. So the second part of the question was, like I said, the most important part is Die Hard a Christmas movie, or are you wrong?
No, it's 100% a Christmas movie. I mean, think about this. If it takes place at the 4th of July, no one cares. Why would they have a 4th of July party with everybody there at Nagasaki Plaza? They wouldn't, right?
Exactly.
It had to be Christmas. It has to be Christmas. I mean, when he pins the ho 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 to the thug's chest, that's amazing. There's so many scenes in Die Hard where McTiernan's like, "This is a Christmas movie, and you're gonna shut up and like it." And I love John McTiernan for that. I love him for that.
So good.
So we talked a lot about Frank Capra with It's a Wonderful Life, but also he's no longer working. Obviously, he passed away some time ago. So who's your favorite director working today in Hollywood?
That's a really good question, but also really hard, and it has several answers. Because
That's cool.
Yeah, I just don't like one or two people. Of course, I mentioned I do like Linklater. Quentin Tarantino and Woody Allen are probably my 2 favorite directors ever. I know a lot of people don't like Woody Allen, but it's not for the things he's done on screen, and I don't care about that. What he does on camera is amazing. But I really love Denis Villeneuve, Matthew Vaughn, and of course, since I'm a huge fan of music, I love John Carney. I love his movies. John Carney is 3 for 3. He's 3 for 3 with me, and he is an absolutely amazing director. His use of music is, bar none, brilliant.
You won't get an argument from us there. We love John Carney's movies so far.
It was Sing.
Yeah.
Did you like Sing Street the best out of the three, or what's your favorite John Carney movie? Kind of off the cuff question, but still.
It's still Once. Once is his first one is still his best one. Once is an absolute, again, because it's a romantic comedy.
Right.
It's a romantic movie, and I just appreciate the honesty in their relationship more than I do, I guess, in Begin Again. It feels a little formulaic, and in Sing Street it's a bit more naturalistic, but still nonetheless it's a bit too young and naive. Whereas in Once it's more of it's organic, and the two of them are not necessarily sure if what they're doing is what they want.
And the piano at the end. Oh.
It's so good. It's so good, man. It's so good. People don't realize how good that is. I mean, like I said, and Tarantino though and Woody Allen are my guys though. Those are the guys whose movies I constantly go back to. Tarantino is a genius, and Woody Allen is still a genius, and I will argue that against anybody.
Well, since you mentioned, you're making our job very easy, William.
Thank you.
So you said you like Woody Allen. You mentioned that you didn't really care about things that have happened with him. How about other artists or directors? Like, is it hard for you to separate the art from the artist, like Roman Polanski, Johnny Depp more recently?
No.
Is it like case-by-case basis?
No, because the art is what the art is. People's legacies are not the in the moment question. Do you know what I mean? Let's give you. I'm going to give you a classic example because I'm a huge fan of classics. Let's look at something like Intolerance, which is one of the most epic films ever put to celluloid. Its director is an absolute racist, an advent racist. You know what I mean? You guys familiar with Intolerance? I think it's 1917.
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, you
1917? Yeah, I think it's 1917, maybe 1919. I know it's one of those.
D.W. Griffith.
Yeah, D.W. Griffith is an advent racist. He also directed A Birth of a Nation. I can separate and I can appreciate, even with the art itself, I can appreciate Birth of a Nation as a film, even though I don't like its message. I can appreciate Intolerance as a film, even though I don't agree with the racist director's point of view. It's the same thing with Polanski. I'm a huge fan of Chinatown. It's never going to change. I love Chinatown. I think The Pianist is amazing. But here's the other thing. Here's the flip side of the Polanski argument. Polanski had something ridiculously traumatic happen to him. His wife and child were killed. People don't realize that. Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson family. That was his wife. And I think that doesn't get talked about enough in arguing against Polanski. I think we need to argue, even though he's still a despicable human being, he's still a great artist.
He still makes movies too, and he makes. I mean, I actually do own at least one Polanski movie that I know, The Ninth Gate.
Oh yeah.
Good one.
So I do own that one, and I own. I don't know if I own another one. I might if I have to.
I own Chinatown on what is it? What's the fancy Blu-rays? I have one of those. The Steelbook. I have the Steelbook.
Steelbook.
I have the Steelbook of Chinatown, and I own The Pianist on Blu-ray as well because I love The Pianist. It's amazing. Again, it is. I don't care about him. It's the same thing with Woody Allen. I don't care if he married his daughter's daughter. He got remarried again to his daughter's daughter. If he still keeps making great movies like A Midnight in Paris or Blue Jasmine or even Cafe Society, if he keeps making these great movies, I'm still going to be appreciative of all of the things he's doing for the art itself. And he is a genius. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, he has a new one coming out soon, too, with Kate Winslet, right?
I would like to talk about the fact that Kate Winslet is the queen. And the fact that she's working with Woody Allen. My favorite actress is working with one of my favorite directors. I am already ready to see this thing. Like yesterday.
And Justin Timberlake is in it, too. So there you go.
I don't care.
I know.
I don't. Although he deserves credit because every time I've seen him on screen, he hasn't been terrible. Like,
it's true.
He was good in The Social Network. Out of Time is a shitty movie anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then in what's the movie with Oscar Isaac? I just watched it a few weeks ago. Rewatched it.
Oh, Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, I loved Inside Llewyn Davis. He was great in that too. He was great in that. So he's never been off-putting.
The one from maybe a decade ago with that guy who was in every movie in the 90s and 2000s. Do you remember that movie, Big J?
Which one? With
Olivia Wilde is in it.
Oh, what is it? The Alpha?
Alpha Dog.
Alpha Dog?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
He was pretty
Alpha
good
Dog
in that
is
too.
good. Yeah. R.I.P. Anton Yelchin.
Oh, you had to bring it up. Oh.
I did.
That stings. That still stings.
I know it does.
Man.
It does. He's so talented. He's so talented. Such a talented
It's
young
your
man.
topic.
It's my turn.
He was in Green Room. I love Green Room. So
Green Room's a great movie.
So good. Oh
Yeah.
man, you're
Intense
just like
movie, very intense.
Well,
Yeah,
I
well-
real quick, I want to say before you go on to the next question, I think that a lot of people wouldn't admit what you just admitted. I feel like a lot of people would take the safe answer and say, you know, I think I can't watch Roman Polanski's movies because of what he's done in the past. So I commend you. That's a good answer, and it's an honest answer, and you know that you can separate. Johnny Depp, I like Johnny Depp before he got, beat up Amber Heard. And it's like that's so in the forefront now of my mind when I watch Johnny Depp movies that I wish it wasn't. You know what I mean?
you see, the sad part is he's making his legacy. He's tarnishing his legacy for us. So he didn't even need to do that. You know what I mean? He's making crappy movie after crappy movie. I'm still always going to remember him for his hits and not his misses. So, and again, I can separate that, and I understand why people would want to lie and tell you that they can't separate it. But in reality, it doesn't matter. And the thing is, if anybody's ever talked to me on Twitter or any place else, they will realize the one thing that we don't do here at FilmSnobReviews.com is lie to people. Our opinions are our own, and we do not care if people like them.
Mm-hmm.
If we like something, we like it. We don't care if you do. If we have an opinion, it's our opinion. We don't care what yours is. We'll hear your opinion, and we'll debate it like men and women.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think that there is something to be said about internet discourse a little when people agree and disagree so vehemently about a movie. Mother. And
We were just talking about this.
Yeah, I know. I've seen people downright call people who did not like this movie or did not understand this movie stupid. And that's one thing that we would never do is we'd never call anybody stupid for not liking a movie or not understanding something. And so
No.
it seems like you're on the same page with us. So we're going to, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship that's already gone on for like a couple of years, but still.
1941 Casablanca. Thank you so much for that quote.
Yes. So you are chomping at the bit to get another question out. Go ahead.
Not really. But I mean, he mentioned he's a fan of Woody Allen. He mentioned he's a fan of Rachel Weisz. So I was going to ask if you could have dinner with
Kate Winslet?
one director. Oh, Kate Winslet, not Rachel Weisz. Yeah, Kate Winslet. Sorry. One actor, one director, one actress. Who would those three be?
Okay, so the actor is really easy. It's Clark Gable because he's the man. Clark Gable's the man. Period. Actress, it would be Kate Winslet because she's the queen. And then definitely director. I think I'm going to a place you guys won't expect me to go. Director, I would say Wes Anderson because he's amazing. He has a wonderful sense of style, and he'd probably have a great dinner recommendation.
Is he a vegan though?
I don't care. I'm from Los
I
Angeles.
don't
I
want
don't
to eat
care.
carrots. I want to meat.
He's Wes Anderson. He'll make the meat look like it. You know what I mean? He'll make it all pastel colors, and you'll eat it.
Or maybe he'll give those little, the little whatever they were from Grand Budapest Hotel, like the little chocolates or the little cookies or whatever they were.
Yes.
Yum. Cool. Good answer. Yeah. Wes
you.
Anderson would take you to a restaurant where there's all sorts of crazy crap on the walls too.
Yeah. Plus, we'll all be well dressed. We'll all be well dressed. Think about it. Wes Anderson always dresses well. Kate Winslet is the queen, and he's Clark Gable. Come on.
He's a sharp man. Sharp set of people there, I think.
And then there's me, and of course I am also very sharp. So there you go.
Every girl crazy about a sharp dressed man.
Now she's quoting ZZ. Okay.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, it's my turn. Sorry. I know I'm full of music. I'm full of music quotes. It's just
Man.
I'm trying to think of something we haven't really talked about yet. Okay, well you said kind of a sort of seamless integration yet again, but instead of music, we'll talk about movies. What film can you quote from start to finish?
Liar, liar. Period. End of story.
Wow, interesting.
Yes. It's really
Do
bad.
you do the facial expressions while you say them?
Yes, because I've been told I have a very flexible face like Jim Carrey. So yes, I can actually.
Very cool.
Like you should see me do the pullover the scene when he gets pulled over. Yeah, it's hilarious. Jordan fades back. He shoots, and that's the game. Oh, I love it. Oh, God, I could go on all day. It's ridiculous. Oh,
We
my
should
God.
stream Liar Liar one time on Friday because we do streams on Friday nights where we kind of get everybody together and we watch movies on Instagram. That should be maybe our pick for a Friday. That's a great movie.
You don't want that to happen because it'll just be me in the comment section quoting the whole damn thing.
That's okay.
It's like we're going to. The boy must learn to be a warrior. And who better to teach him than Randy Macho Man Savage in the Cage of Death? I can do it all
hold
day.
on. Actually, maybe what we need to do is we need to do like the two-way Instagram chat where we just record you saying the entire movie.
Oh, that'd be good. I would love it. Like,
can
you
do
don't
it
understand.
That's so good.
You don't understand. I would do it, like, literally. Do you know why I pulled you over? Depends on how long you were following me. Can do the whole thing, man. It's ridiculous. Oh my god. You don't know how much this means to me. I do. $3,856.11. How do you sleep at night? I could do the whole thing.
He knows it down to the cent.
It's ridiculous. I freaking love that movie so much. Oh my god. It's literally everyone asks me, what's your favorite comedy? It's Liar Liar, period. It's always going to be Liar Liar. It's the best. Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. Thank you guys for letting me talk nerd out about Liar Liar, because it doesn't get the love it deserves in Jim Carrey's canon, of course.
Well, where else can you talk about Liar Liar, Intolerance, and it happened one night.
Yeah.
Hold on. That was a pretty deep cut, though, right? Intolerance, yo.
That was a deep cut.
That was.
Yes, deep.
Here's the
like
thing.
seaside track.
I love classic film. I do. I'd say that, of all the people that I know on movie Twitter, that people don't talk about classic films, and I think I would be, if we had to point out an expert, I would probably be me. I love the 1990, the 1900s, the 20s, the 30s, 40s films. I love those movies, and I don't think that they get talked about enough in our space. It's always what's the latest thing, what's the greatest thing, and is that a superhero movie? And that really upsets me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, good old Jam in the chat says he has the quotes we deserve, not the ones we need.
Yes, I like it.
Okay, go ahead, Big J.
I was going to say, as a classic film lover, I was going to ask you, what is the most egregious remake ever made?
It's Gus Van Sant's Psycho. It's Gus Van Sant's Psycho.
Oh.
This is not a question.
Quick.
This is not a question. It's Gus Van Sant's Psycho. Like, why? Why?
Shot for shot. Why?
What was the point? What was the point? We didn't gain any new insight into the characters. We didn't gain anything. We didn't learn anything. And here's the thing. It would be different if Gus Van Sant had made a Gus Van Sant version of Psycho, because he's a great director. Like, no doubt, he's got some skills. I mean, Elephant's incredible. But that's not what he did. He just said, hey, Hitchcock, let me borrow that for a second, bro. Let me just change the name on the top of the paperwork. It's cool. You know what I mean? Like,
I could do this, no problem. And Heish, where you at?
Where you at? Hey, Vince Vaughn, pull yourself out of a post-swingers hangover and come do some weird crap with me. Thank you. I don't understand that movie in the least bit, man. I don't get it. I don't understand this movie in the least bit, why it was made. So I think that is the most egregious remake. And that's saying something, because there's a lot of egregious remakes.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even bother to do anything different. That's like the worst style to go. That's just like, that's not even like borrowing. That's like a straight ripoff. That's like the worst type of ripoff you can do. I think.
For such an artistic filmmaker like Gus Van Sant to do such a boring shot-for-shot remake with people who aren't that good.
Yeah,
nothing else.
Yeah, I expect that out of somebody like. Yeah, well, I mean, come on. Janet Leigh's incredible in that movie. Even though she's only in it for 20 minutes, she does great work in those 20 minutes. And you can't tell me that Vince Vaughn's anywhere close to Anthony Perkins at all, because it's not a contest. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
He didn't get inside the head. He just looked like what would happen if Norman Bates had like some sort of mental deficiency. That was it, really.
Poor Vince Vaughn.
It's not him, but it's him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not his fault, but it is his fault, because he doesn't have that bone in his acting body.
Just so everyone is aware, we're talking about Teen Choice Award winner Vince Vaughn.
Yes,
Ooh,
that guy.
If you've listened to the show before, I like to tout his achievement. Teen Choice Award winner Vince Vaughn.
Well, I mean, that's not fair, but that's fair.
That's pretty fair.
I mean, several people have won Teen Choice Awards. Just none of them are good. So.
Vince Vaughn and Miranda Sings.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so kind of on that subject, but a little different. The next question underneath that, number 9. Which movie do you think is so underappreciated that it deserves a remake?
Here's the thing. I don't agree that remaking something affects the previous films in any way, so I don't technically have an answer for that.
Interesting.
I don't feel like if you remake a movie, it hurts or helps the original at all. Here's a good example. When you watch the 2016 Ghostbusters, do you hate the original Ghostbusters any less?
Nope.
No.
Does that movie still suck? Yeah, it still sucks.
No.
That movie still sucks. I'm sorry. The Ghostbusters remake from last year is not a good film, and but it doesn't affect my love of the original. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, let's switch that question a bit. Let's say, is there a movie that you think had a good concept but was like a failure to really execute? That the concept was good and that concept should be remade. I know, like, we just rewatched the Dark Crystal animated movie.
So good.
I really love the concept of Dark Crystal, but I think it missed something and could have been done better.
We did.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Dark Crystal. How dare you, Big J? How dare you?
I love the Dark Crystal. Yeah, I just think it could have. They cut out a lot in that. They didn't really bring it to its full potential of the source material. Yeah.
I get you. So as much
not
as
the Dark Crystal. Sorry, not the Dark Crystal.
I'm like, did you watch it without me? What the hell?
I love the Dark Crystal. Sorry, I meant the Black Cauldron, not the Dark Crystal.
Okay, that's a different story.
Part on my part. Yeah, the Dark Crystal I love. It's perfect. But
I was like, did you watch it without me?
I was just saying the Black Cauldron. That's what I meant to say. It's an animated film, The Black Cauldron by Disney. Yeah. And I thought it had a good concept and it had a good source material, but they didn't execute it properly.
It was also like kind of not in the right time that it didn't come out in the right time.
Yeah.
I don't agree that it didn't come out in the right time. I just think that was not the story they should have told at that time. I just think at that time Disney needed a bit more of an oomph. It was the late 70s. I think that movie's from 79. Might be 80. But is it 80?
Yeah, it's 85, I think, or 86.
I'll Google.
It's definitely not 80 that late in the 80s. I don't think. I don't think because is it 85? There you go. Mm-hmm. There's another chapter, and William doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yes.
That's okay.
There we go.
So we.
Yeah,
I cheat. I saw it in the theater when I was a kid. So
I was not alive yet.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's been in the 30s.
So no, here's the thing. I do think that there is one movie, as much as I shit on superhero movies because I think that they're a plague on the movie-going audience as well as the movie internet community. They do have a purpose, and it can be a good one. I think that The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is a movie that should be remade because the concept is so sweet.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. See, in better hands with today's technology, that film could be something totally different. It can be an amazing adventure for the whole family, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I remember seeing that, and I was so disappointed when I saw, because the concept sounded so cool about taking these literary characters and turning them into kind of like these superheroes and stuff, and they kind of failed. It was like a failure to execute it properly. And that's like the perfect movie that you could see redone. If they do it right, again, they could fail again and just flop on their face again, because Hollywood has a tendency to do that. But
I've never seen that. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Sorry about that. My brother really liked that movie when he was younger, and I kind of got the same vibe from the plot as Ready Player One a little bit, where they have all these characters from other mediums, like they have Freddy Krueger, they have the Iron Giant, and I don't know anything about that movie. I haven't read the book. Do you know anything about that one, William?
I read Ready Player One.
Did you like it?
They're not similar in any way.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I kind of got a little bit of a vibe from it, and I thought, but hopefully
I totally understand that, though. I do. I don't read that many books, but I did read Ready Player One, and it is more so an adventure having to do with one kid's adventure and going on a scavenger hunt that could change his life, as opposed to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which takes, the Invisible Man and all these great literary characters and turns them into superheroes who can save the day. By the way, Big J, you're not the only person who had that opinion on the film. The film is so bad it retired Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Is that true? Really? That's true? That was his last movie?
That is the truth, yes.
What? Whoa, I didn't know that.
He decided not to go out with a whimper, but with an absolute bomb.
Oh, wah, wah.
You're welcome.
Aw.
You're welcome. Hey, he could have done, the Gene Hackman and done Welcome to Mooseport, and then said, "Later's, I'm out."
I remember Welcome to Missport with it's Gene Hackman and Ray Romano, I think, right?
I'd rather not remember it. Thank you. Not
Okay.
good. It's not good. It's not good.
Hold on, I gotta write that down. Now I have to see it. Welcome to
Don't
Most
see this
Sports.
thing. It's really bad.
You,
Wow.
you come on now. You know, we gotta torture ourselves.
Okay, so we're talking about movies you hate here. So if you were forced to watch a movie you hate on repeat, which one would it be?
Okay, so it's probably going to be. It's a hard question because when you think about it, there's so many bad movies. Now you said I had to watch it on repeat for the rest of my life.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the only thing.
Okay, so probably some crappy Friedberg Seltzer movie, like Meet the Spartans or Epic Movie or something like that, because I think that it would make my life way more productive. I think that I would get so tired of watching it, I would become really, really ridiculously productive.
That's interesting. I think people choose the lesser of the evils, and I don't think anybody's ever thought, well, I'll just be numb to it eventually and get more production out of it, having it on in the background for the rest of my life. But which
Yeah.
one specifically?
You
They're
know what?
varying degrees of badness.
They're all pretty much equally terrible. They are the lowest common denominator. Let's go with Meet the Spartans because I think that has the lowest Rotten Tomato score at 2%. But don't quote me on that. Again, this could be another session of William doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, that's okay. Well, then, so on that same token, if you were stuck on a desert island and only had one movie with you, just one, what would it be and why?
Oh, it's going to be Empire because I could rewatch it and quote it all day. Empire Strikes Back is amazing. It's going to be that one. Yeah, it's going to be that one. I mean, come on. I love you. I know. Tears.
I have towels that say I love you, I know. Hand
Yeah,
towels.
they have them at Disneyland.
Oh, do they?
They have shirts.
Yeah, we have
They
those
have
towels.
they have his and her shirts as well.
Aw, cute.
So that
And also
yours,
kind of vomitous.
yeah, yours could say "I love you" and hers could say "I know."
Cute.
You have to do it like overly dramatic, or it doesn't count really.
I know.
So you said it brought you to tears. Empire does. What other movies bring you to tears?
Oh, there are so many, my man, so many. Oh, here's the thing: her every single time I turn into a blubbering whale, because it's so damn beautiful. Definitely the ending of Garden State. I love Garden State. I think it's so underrated. The ending when he just realizes that he wants to actually feel again. Spoiler alert for people who haven't seen this 12-year-old movie. I love that movie so much. Like, oh God, I love it. What else makes me cry? You know what? Definitely The Notebook because I'm a softie. Yeah, I will admit
The
this
Notebook,
as a man.
huh?
As a man, the ending of The Notebook is beautiful.
And he openly admits it. No,
Yeah.
the ending does make the ending is
Oh,
pretty crushing. The
and Toy Story 3, basically the whole movie.
Oh, no.
Every time he says, what does he say at the end? What does he say? Howdy or goodbye or thank you, partner, or something like that. I'm like, no, don't go. Woody, don't
give
go.
away your toys.
I love you, Woody. Don't leave. Every time.
Stop
like,
it.
Stop it. It's so good. And then, of course, the beginning of Up.
Yeah,
Just for
that
shits and
ranks
giggles.
everybody.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's good. Also, I get a little bit teary-eyed, but I don't cry at the end of Blade Runner when Roy Batty gives the speech when he says, "I've seen things you people wouldn't believe." You know that speech
Yeah.
is so amazing, and it's such a hearkening back to the core message of existentialism that the film tries to convey and does a really good job of conveying. But it is the whole purpose of the movie in one speech, I think.
And the part about crying tears in the rain, didn't you say that was ad-lib, Big J,
was
by
ad-libbed.
Rucker Hauer?
Yeah.
The tears in the
Right.
rain line was, yeah.
Yeah, when he says all those moments lost like tears in the rain. Every time, it's so good. I love it. Oh,
I
I
just
love
watched
it.
it for the very first time, like a week ago.
hold on, you've never seen Blade? How does that happen?
I had not. I've also not seen The Matrix, which everybody gives me shit about.
Big J, she needs to leave.
Uh,
I can't handle this.
I
Right
know.
now. I can't be in the same room with someone who doesn't appreciate The Matrix because they've never seen
I'm
it.
not going. I'm not going to apologize for it because I was younger and I was a shitty movie watcher when I was younger.
Okay.
I have learned the error of my ways, However, I'm going to need to watch the theatrical cut of Blade Runner because I need my handheld.
You need to watch the director's cut. It's better.
That's what we watched.
That's what we
the
watched.
one I own that one on DVD, and we watched that one.
Yeah.
We might just need to watch it again.
It's better. So no excuse because I'm younger than you and I saw The Matrix in theaters. So no excuse.
Yeah, well,
I was 12.
whatever. I also couldn't really see R-rated movies in the theater, so I saw one. We snuck into Snatch. Me and my friends, we snuck into Snatch and told our parents we were going to see The Emperor's New Groove, and that's the one R-rated movie I distinctly remember seeing as a kid.
Well, your parents are better than mine. Sorry.
Okay, so you mentioned The Empire Strikes Back several times now, and I think that you said it changed your life as a kid. Are there any other movies that changed your life or changed your way of thinking about a certain topic or subject? If I'm not mistaken, this is Cunone's question.
Yeah, so I mean, think about this. Eternal Sunshine showed me that love is love. It's eternal, and no matter what you do, the person you're meant to love is the person you're going to be with no matter what. Joel and Clementine, they are yin and yang. They're meant to be together. And I think that message changed how I look at relationships with women and how I look at how I treat women, and that at the end of the day, if we are meant to be and we're decent human beings to each other, then we will be. I cannot tell you the insight that film offered me. As I think I was 15 when it came out. It's from 2014 or 2004, so that would be like 15 years old when I saw that. It changed my whole perspective on that. I think that there's a few other movies that I can think of that just kind of changed the way I look at things. Russian Ark. I saw that movie and it changed the way I look at how films are shot. Because the Russian
Ark?
Yeah, the Russian Ark is basically one giant, 6-hour tracking shot.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't think you could do that. I thought that was against the rules to not cut the camera. You know what I mean? I thought that you can't do that. You have to cut because you have to change the scene and you have to give a different perspective. But you don't. You can live in that one scene. You can live in that one moment and experience it throughout. That changed my whole outlook on how movies are made. And so, I mean, those two movies specifically, when I look at Charlie Kaufman in general just kind of changed my outlook on love. And even with his film that he wrote, Anomalisa, when you look at it, it's such a scathing look at relationships with others and the feelings of existentialism and isolation that you can get when you don't know how to connect with people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really prevalent in all of Kaufman's writing. And I love that guy. He's such a brilliant writer, and I'm so glad he got his Oscar for Eternal Sunshine, which I argued should have won Kate Winslet the Oscar anyway. Mm-hmm. So,
she and Leo both needed that Oscar like 10 years earlier.
Every time Leo was nominated, though, he was not the best actor that year. That's the problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although I would argue Michael Fassbender needed it that year.
Yeah, because Jobs was amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay, Jobs was absolutely amazing. It was my number 2 movie of that year, and it blew my mind. I love Aaron Sorkin's my favorite writer, so I'm looking very much forward to Molly's Game, which he wrote and is directing. And Jessica Chastain's amazing. So, yeah, I'm looking very forward to it.
Jessica Chastain is my new queen.
No, Kate Winslet is and always will be the queen. Thank you very much. The queen. Always.
But Meryl Streep disagrees with you.
She can disagree all she wants. She gets nominated for film she shouldn't.
Girl.
Into the Wild. Into the Wild.
True. That's true. Come on.
What is it? Into the Woods. I'm sorry. Into the Woods was terrible. And I like musicals.
But William, she sang in Mamma Mia.
And that movie sucks. I don't like Mamma Mia. Great. It's not good.
It's not great. It's better than Into the Woods, but still.
Yeah. But that's not saying much, because Into the Woods is so disappointing. Like, it's really bad. I walked out of that. And again, I like musicals, so.
Well, okay. Well, then off the cuff question, what's your favorite musical?
Okay. That's actually not as difficult a question to answer as you would think. Because quite frankly, when I look at musicals and I look at the whole grand scheme of Hollywood history and all the glam, it's Singing in the Rain, and it always will be. Singing in the Rain is the golden age musical that changed the whole game. It did. Like
I always
nobody.
remember the little chunk of trivia about Singing in the Rain, because the movie's all about an actress who pretends to sing and has someone singing in the background for her. This other actress is kind of hiding behind the curtain singing for her, but the actress who was hiding behind the curtains, who was supposed to be really singing, actually had somebody else dubbing all her songs. And the woman who was pretending to sing actually sung her own song.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, it's kind of an interesting little switcheroo there in the backgrounds of Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, because that's
I
Debbie.
remember Singing in the Rain.
That was Debbie Reynolds that played her. It's Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds, and that movie's amazing. Amazing.
I'm gonna write that one back down.
It's a great musical. I don't know how you haven't seen it in that long, but I could literally just name off a bunch that I love. I mean, The Wizard of Oz is technically a musical, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even more contemporary stuff like the John Carney films, which I think only Once is really a musical. I don't think Begin Again and Sing Street are musicals, but Once is definitely a musical. And even La La Land. La La Land is such a breath of fresh air.
I love La La Land.
Yeah, I just rewatched it.
Argument from Lovo.
Yeah, I just rewatched it last night again for like this 8th time.
You did?
It's so good. Yeah, it's on HBO.
Oh, I think we own it, don't we? I think you bought it for me for my birthday.
Yeah, I bought it for you.
We haven't watched it since we saw it in the theater. I'm like totally slacking, but
Oh, girl, come on! You got to catch up, get up to my game. I've seen it 8 times. Come on.
all those movies that we like have to watch are the ones that I wish I could watch a movie for fun. I remember what that was like.
I want to give you guys a really cool thing to try when you watch La La Land on next time. I want you to take all the color out of it.
What?
Watch it in black and white. It's
That's
amazing.
what they say about Mad Max.
No, it's amazing in black and white. I watched it in black and white, and I turned the contrast up. It's so amazing. Like, you don't need color for that to be an amazing movie. Because even the scene, like the Somewhere in the Crowd scene, it's amazing because you can still see that those 3 dresses are distinctly primary colors, because in black and white, primary colors give off different shades.
Mm-hmm.
And although I would still watch it with color, maybe high contrast, the opposite as well, because you'd still get that sense of primary color that Damien Chazelle gives in the early part of the movie.
I would add to your romantic list, kind of in the same vein of 500 Days of Summer, with the expectation and reality scene, is the end of La La Land. No spoilers, because it just came out last year, so no spoilers. But
God, yes. Oh yeah, no, yes. Definitely. I agree with you, and I think the musical cues and callback to that, the usage of that, is so good. Like, but what it really is La La Land, and a lot of people disagree that the ending is good. I think the ending is perfect. Mm-hmm. I think it's brilliant. And completely. no offense to Moonlight, because Moonlight is a good movie, but it didn't give me any emotions. I just wanted to go out and sing and dance after I saw La La Land. I just wanted to go down to I wanted to go to Mulholland Drive down in LA, and I wanted to find a dance partner to do that 2-step with. That's what I wanted to do.
Well, someone in the crowd could be the one you're waiting for.
Exactly. Jesus.
Go ahead, RJ.
Okay. Well, we've been talking a lot about critically acclaimed movies in your lists and a lot of these movies. So I'm going to ask, it's kind of a 2-part question. And one is, what is a movie that critics really loved and that you hated? And then, of course, one movies that critics hated that you really loved.
Okay, so Tree of Life, first of all. Critics love that thing, and I hated it. I utterly despise that thing. And then on the flip side, Spring Breakers. I like Spring Breakers. I think it's great. I think the Spring Breakers, I think it's really underrated, and the critics didn't like it. I can see why. It's very contemporary in the way it's shot. It's like millennial friendly, but I'm not a millennial. I'm a little bit older. But I think that the way that Harmony Korine puts the scenes together really makes it such an interesting look at just weirdos hanging out on spring break in Miami. I really like it. I recommend you guys check it out. You're probably not going to like it, but I definitely check it out.
Well, I've heard about that movie a lot, and I don't know why I never wanted to watch it. I think it was because the girl from Pretty Little Liars was in it, and she is a terrible actress, but maybe that's the point.
Well, it's
No,
not those
she's
girls.
good in
It's,
it.
Oh, she's good in it? Oh, okay. I don't know her name, but
'cause
the
I think-
blonde one.
Isn't it like Selena Gomez and
Yeah.
Justin
It's-
Bieber's ex-girlfriend?
It's
Selena
Selena
Gomez.
Gomez,
No, sorry, the other one.
Vanessa Hudgens, Ashley Benson from Pretty Little Liars, and Harmony
her, yeah.
Korine's Harmony Korine's like sister is in it as well. I think it's a sister. I'm not sure what the relationship is between those two. I think they're married actually. But those four girls, and then of course James Franco being a weirdo named Alien.
Yeah. Alien with the cornrows.
Yeah.
Vanessa Hudgens is Zac Efron's
Oh,
ex-girlfriend.
Zac Efron.
Yes.
That's who it was.
All I'm saying is,
Right.
spring break now, spring break forever.
It does sound interesting, and I know it's a little divisive. I know people like it, and some people just truly despise it. So those are good answers.
Those people are
and
wrong.
speaking of critics, most people are wrong. That's true. You are right, however. You write your own story. Do you think critics matter anymore? Whether or not they're, Rotten Tomatoes certified, or if they write for a paper, or if they write for their own website. Do you think we matter?
So it's gonna sell.
Be
It's
honest.
gonna sound like self-aggrandizing to say so, but let me ask you guys a question. Scenario: car breaks down. Do you try to diagnose the car yourself and get it fixed?
Well, if you're Big J. No.
If you're me, it's
no.
gonna be no. It's gonna be no. What do?
No.
You take it to
Well,
someone who
tow
knows what
truck
they
and
do.
take it to a person who can fix it. Yeah.
Okay, so before you do that, though, right? You look up, see who's good, right?
Yes.
Because you're about to spend money on that, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just replace a car with going to see the movie.
It's a good point. That is
You're
a
not
very
gonna-
good point.
Here's the thing: these people are not just Joe Schmo, doing whatever they want. There's so many different critics out there and so many different opinions that you can find the ones you like, and you can agree with them. What I love and why Roger Ebert is one of my heroes is because he wrote reviews not because he wanted to. He wrote them because this is what he thought. And what I loved about him and Gene Siskel is they would often disagree, but they would talk about it, why they thought what they thought. And I really respect people who can look at a film, write their feelings down, and give me a coherent thought on what they think. And I would point to, if you guys want to see a really good example of, something like that on our website, one of our writers, he's a gentleman from England, his name is Lee. He wrote a really, really, really good review on the British film The Hippopotamus, which is based on a book by Stephen Fry. And it's incredible. It's a great review, and he deserves all the kudos I'm giving him right now because he's great. But check that out. But again, I think they do matter because if you're going to spend money on something, you should know if you're going to like it or not. And if you know, like, let's say someone, for example, they have the same sensibilities as I do, and I write a really good review about it. I write a positive, like a B+. And they go to the movie and they're like, yeah, that was about right. They feel confident that our tastes match up. Whereas on the flip side, if I give a movie an F and they're like, I really like that, now they're going to look at that and say, well, he missed that one, but for the most part, he's got it. You know what I mean? Now, at least we know that there are people out there who are going to give us honest opinions. Because honestly, I don't know any critic that will pay to play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate when people say, oh, Marvel shill. You're paid by Disney to give Marvel movies a good review. Oh, that's so,
That's
so ridiculous.
I agree
Yeah,
because
it's
I didn't
ridiculous.
like Doctor Strange. I thought Doctor Strange was just boring. I thought it was super boring. And here's the thing: I like Marvel films, but I just thought that was super boring.
I
And
can see that though.
yeah, it's not their
Yeah.
best. It's not their best effort. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, nowhere near as good as the first one, and not even nearly as charming.
And it's not even about, like, take the incentive away from it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're paid, what good does it do you or I or Big J or any other person that makes YouTube videos or writes reviews or an actual critic who writes for IndieWire or anybody, Dave Ehrlich?
They were like, "Don't
What
bag
is
on
it-
Ehrlich."
No, anybody. What is it? Leonard Maltin, whoever, anybody, person who writes for what's his name? What does it do you any good to lie? Like you mentioned earlier, you don't lie. We don't lie. If we hate something, we're going to tell you we hate it. If you love something, you're going to tell people you love it. What good does it do to lie about something that you hated or loved? It never made sense to me to lie about it.
No, you're 100% correct. Like, why would I want to consciously point you in the wrong direction when my whole job is to consciously point you in the correct direction?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I agree totally. Also, shout out to Leonard Maltin's daughter, who's a very nice lady. She follows us on Twitter, and she's always very nice to us. So, Jessie.
Is that
hi.
Jessie?
Yes. She's always very nice.
She wrote that hilarious, she posted that hilarious tweet between her and her parents about how he said Black Swan was like the Care Bears compared to Mother.
Yes.
I love that.
She's very funny. Very funny. Very funny on the tweets. Always a sweet lady, though. Very sweet lady. But again, Maltin, he has different taste than I do. He didn't like Mother. I enjoyed it. I loved it. You guys loved it. You guys are not going to like it out there. But you should see it anyway, because I think original film deserves to be seen. I think people who have the balls to write something original like that deserve to have their movie seen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I know. We agree with you for sure. And also, I think that if it's part of a conversation, whether or not it takes you out of your comfort zone or if it's something you don't necessarily agree with morally, whatever happens in Mother, because obviously no spoilers, but it's part of a conversation if you can have a discourse about it and it's polite and it's awesome. If you can tell me why you hated it, that's cool. And if you can tell me why you liked it, then that's cool. But I'm not going to lie and say, oh, this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen when I, in fact, loved it. So, and I know the same goes for you as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we are on the subject of things that matter, I'm going to ask another question about, do you think stars matter like as much as they used to? As far as like bringing in box office and stuff like that.
No, we live in the era of the director. We live in the era of the IP selling the movie. People don't go to movies to see who's in it. You know what I mean? Marvel doesn't have to tell you who's in the movie. You're still gonna go friggin' see it. Mm-hmm. You don't need to tell me who's in the new Denny Villeneuve movie. I'm gonna go see it because he's amazing. That's the thing. We live in an era of directors and IPs. The actors don't matter. Honestly, that's why Marvel's able to take these unknown commodities and turn them into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that's honestly that's the most poignant answer I can give. There's really not much else to say about that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm right on the same page. I think we're kind of in a franchise era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People tend to go to things they're more familiar with.
And we mentioned before on the show that we think the one exception to that, and I think it was Oracle that agreed with us, or maybe it was Ian Bulaklak, was Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, even then,
see him no matter what.
Even then, I
don't agree.
I don't agree.
Really?
I don't agree because here's the thing: if you told me he was doing, a movie about, I don't know, right-wing propaganda, I'm still not going to go see that. I don't want to see that.
Hell,
I don't want to see.
I think that'll be a cold day in hell.
Exactly. Before he does that, exactly. But that's why I had to give the most arduous example, the most like contrasting example. Do you know what I mean?
That is true. That is true. If he went all Kirk Cameron on everybody.
Oh my God! If he's like, Christmas is about Jesus. Cool, man. That's cool. I'm still not seeing that. I'm good, bro.
Let's see. Okay. This is kind of another one, cinephile oriented. It's a big conversation right now. Do you think movies should be released for home viewing the same time as in-theater releases? So Kingsman's coming out this weekend. If you could watch it at home for $50 versus going to see it at the theater for $20, do you think that should happen?
No. But here's the thing.
No, that's it.
Day and date is a tough question morally and financially. So it's like, I don't really want to go too much into it. But honestly, no, because seeing a movie like Kingsman on the big screen is a totally different experience than seeing it at my house. And I'll give you a good example. The example of, I went yesterday to the movies for my birthday. I went and saw Wind River. And I could not imagine watching that at home as opposed to seeing it on the big screen. Seeing it on the big screen, seeing that big Wyoming sky out there on the big screen just had such a more visceral effect on me and building the scene for me than it would have if I had watched it on my phone or on the TV. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Some movies are just meant to be seen on the biggest possible screen. Probably not disaster movie, but something like Wind River or even something like Mother. I think that it needs a dark room with no distractions. Although I don't know, we don't know about you. Do you take your phone out during a movie? Because if you do, boo hiss.
I'm not a communist, so I don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Good.
you should never be pulling. Also, movies are not $20 here. I live in Vegas. They're only $10.
Really?
Yeah, and $5 on Tuesday. So
What about at the South Point Resort and Hotel?
they're $5 on Tuesday.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's whenever we've gone to Vegas, that's where we've stayed, is the South Point, because we
I
used to
don't know.
be
I don't know
poor.
why.
Because it had a pool and it was like a resort, and we were poor, and they had like
They all have
$20 nights, and now they don't, but still.
It was
They all
cheaper
have
than the
pools,
Strip,
first
and
of
they
all.
had
I know. We were young.
it was just cheaper than the Strip.
Yeah, no, good shopping there. But the hotel right down the street from my house, which is a station casino, I can walk there, and the movie theater is great. It's a Cinemark, actually. They just rebuilt it,
Nice.
and it's $5 on Tuesday. So I saw Logan Lucky and Wind River for $10.
There you go.
That's awesome. What's
Yeah.
your favorite hotel, which has nothing to do with movies, but what's your favorite hotel in Vegas?
Okay, so I don't stay at any of them because I live here and I'm not a
Of
tourist.
course.
But I really like the Cosmopolitan, and I'll give you the 2 reasons why. The Cosmopolitan has one of the coolest looking parking structures in all of Vegas. Not only is every layer of the parking structure, it was graffitied by a different artist.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
So it's all original work. But they also have those sweet lights that tell you whether there's a car parked there or not. So if it's green, the spot's open. If it's red, it's not open.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then once you get inside, they have a place called Secret Pizza there. And it's a really hard place to find inside the Cosmopolitan, but some of the best pizza in Vegas.
Nice. Well, we like pizza, so maybe that's our next hotel.
Yeah, it's expensive though. I'm not going to lie to you. The Cosmo is probably really expensive. I don't know. I don't know
That's
pricing.
one of the more expensive ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, now, so we're speaking about your home city.
He's like, shut up. Oh, yeah, good segue, Big
segue,
J.
right?
Yes.
What is your favorite movie that takes place in, well, Las Vegas, I guess?
That is super easy. It's Leaving Las Vegas with Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
That's really easy.
interesting movie.
I like depressing movies, first of all. If you ask me what my favorite genre of movies is, it's sad. I like sad movies, okay? Did the dog die? No? Then it's not a sad movie. It's not a good movie. The dog should. No offense, I love puppies, but when the dog dies, that's the saddest of all events. But yeah, Leaving Las Vegas it's amazing. You guys have seen it, obviously. Everybody's seen it. It is the quintessential mark we point to when we ask Nicolas Cage, "What the hell happened, man?"
Yeah.
He won an Oscar and stopped caring.
I don't even think it was that point. I don't even think that was the point where he stopped caring, because he lives out here. So I shouldn't be saying this, but he lives out here in Vegas.
Oh, really?
I've seen him at least 3-4 times. So, and I always want to
Does
go
he
to him.
the Bally's,
He does.
just like in Honeymoon in Vegas?
Yes, but he also goes to the gym, which is where I've seen him once. I wasn't in the gym. I was passing by the gym. I don't go in the gym. But also I saw him at Target once. I was like, is that Nicolas Cage? that is Nicolas Cage. Cool.
Nice.
All right, cool. I don't get starstruck, so I was like, hey, that's cool. Do your thing, man.
Yeah, he owes the government a lot of money.
That's why he keeps taking these
Apparently.
shitty movies like Arsenal. I don't want to get started on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get started on that. No, moving on.
Oh,
That is like the best movie set in my city. So there you go.
That's good. That's a good, and plus, I mean, so many movies are made in or about Las Vegas that I think
Yeah.
you've got to go with something that's not only Oscar quality and caliber, but also is sort of impactful
Actually-
in its message and what it has to say.
You want to hear a really funny story actually about Vegas?
Yes.
So you guys know in The Hangover that elevator they go down in Caesar's Palace, the escalator.
Mm-hmm.
So in the actual Caesar's Palace, do you know what's at the bottom of that escalator? About 15 feet from that escalator?
I remember. No, I don't remember.
No.
It's a gift shop, and all they sell is Hangover memorabilia.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's right near the Coliseum. Yeah. Very cool.
I mean, that's cool, but I mean, how much merch could you sell based on The Hangover?
Oh my God, you have no idea. Those Baby Carlos shirts, they never have them in stock.
Really?
It's a gray
Wow.
shirt, and on the front of the shirt is printed Baby Carlos in his little baby Bjorn.
Wow.
Yeah. Beer koozie, plenty of beer koozies. Gotta have your beer koozies out here in Las Vegas.
Or a giant plastic cup that you can fill with some sort of slushy
Looking at
filled
you,
with
Fat
vodka.
Tuesday. Looking at you, Fat Tuesday. I don't drink, so I don't know about
Oh,
any
yeah.
of this stuff. So
We
little
have a
known,
giant Fat Tuesday cup at home.
yeah, little known fact about me: I am straight edge, so I don't partake.
Very cool. That is awesome.
There's your fun fact for the day. What else you guys got?
Let's see. Did you have one in particular
Oh,
that
no,
you've
not-
highlighted?
No, I was just gonna.
Oh, that's a good question though. Okay. I actually just realized that number 32 is on the list twice. So fuck me, right? I've now renumbered them for other people. So this question that Big J has highlighted for me is, what is the most disturbing movie you have ever seen, and why is it the most disturbing? Not counting Mother, because no spoilers.
Sallow.
Okay.
Yeah,
100.
or a Serbian film.
You've seen a Serbian film?
I wish I hadn't. I'm still traumatized
Did you
by
get
this.
tricked into it?
No, I was like, this can't be that bad. Oh my god, it's that bad. Oh my god, it's that bad.
That's the 100 Days of Sodom or whatever.
Yes,
Alternate
Sallow.
title.
Yeah, Sallow and the 100 Days of Sodom. Yeah, no. Oh god, that's anything with carnophagia. I'm not cool with, unless it's John Waters' Pink Flamingos. That's a little bit different.
Right. Well, we're talking about disturbing movies. Is there a movie? I mean, you saw a Serbian film, so this probably might be no. But is there a movie you would just flat out refuse to see?
No, no.
You're willing to see anything, huh?
Yeah, I will watch any movie you give me as long as it's not pornographic material. Just because I don't get the point of that, I'll watch it. Yeah. Here's the thing: I know it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm seeing is not real. So I can get my mind around that. I mean, when I watched what was it, Audition? Holy shit! I watched Audition,
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's a doozy.
"What the hell am I watching?" Even when I watched Mother, there's certain things that happen in Mother, and I was like, "What the?" What's the other movie I watched the other day that I was like, "What am I watching?" And there was somebody's head got severed, and they just rolled it around. They just rolled the head around like it was nothing. I don't remember what movie it was. But they removed they removed the legs of a character, and I was like, "What the hell?" Oh, that's actually a good segue. There's a movie that's coming out called Tragedy Girls, and there's a scene where they remove the body parts and they just throw them someplace else.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So no, yeah. There's really not much as far as like what I wouldn't see. Yeah. No, I don't get spooked like that. I mean, I sat through The Girl Next Door, not the one with not the fun Emil Hirsch comedy. This is a real, true life horror story that happened to a little girl in Canada.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
A Girl Next Door?
The Girl Next Door. They also did another movie called An American Crime about the same story.
Oh, yeah, we've seen that one with Catherine Keener.
Yeah, Catherine Keener and what's her face, Juno. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's another.
Gotcha, yeah.
There's another story. It's the same story, but it's another movie called The Girl Next Door, and it's truly horrifying. Yeah.
Well, how about this one? Speaking of kind of horrific events in movies, what's your favorite horror movie? Sorry, that was your question. I totally ejected from you. Sorry.
Oh, it's a tie between The Thing and Cronenberg's The Fly, because Cronenberg's The Fly is amazing. I love Cronenberg's The Fly, and I'm not a horror movie fan. Let's get that out of the way now. I am not a fan of horror movies. I don't like them inherently, but I love Cronenberg and I love The Fly in particular, and I'm a big fan of Carpenter. I like They Live, but They Live's not a horror movie; it's science fiction. It's so good, right? Mama don't like tattletales.
So relevant today.
That's the sign that's the line that gets lost in that movie, because that's right after he says, "I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum." And the next line is the lady's on her little wristwatch communicator, and he says, "Mama don't like tattletales," and he just blows her ass away. It's amazing. I love that scene. Oh, I love it. But no, The Fly and The Thing. Those two. Yeah, I like 80s horror, so, but not slasher.
No slasher.
I don't. It's not like I don't like them. I'm not a fan of slasher films. They're too tropey for me.
See?
He's feeding us the lines.
There you go.
I've
There's another question on our list. Is like, What is your most hated movie trope?
Okay, it's actually not that, but yeah, that's a big one for me. My most hated one is the and it's from rom-coms. Obviously, it's the naive girl who learns from her mistakes that the guy that was been there all along is the one for her.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah, it happens in a lot of really bad romantic comedies, but the good ones like Pretty in Pink, where Ducky doesn't get the girl, those are the ones that really shine. For me.
And it just points out how bad the trope is. You know what I mean? That it's like, God, this. Oh, I mean, they do something different. My God, it's a miracle.
Yeah, and I also don't like the trope of the final girl. I think it's a dumb trope, really.
Oh, okay. Have you seen the movie The Final Girls?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie because it played on all of those
Yep.
tropes. You know what I mean? It did a great job of, especially what's her face, Vera Farmiga's little sister, Talissa Farmiga.
Tessa?
Yeah, that's her name. She does a great job in that film of being the final girl. No spoilers, but everybody should definitely see that one if they haven't. Even if you're not a horror fan like me, I enjoyed the movie, and I considered it. It's not really a horror movie; it's more of a parody.
Yeah, it's definitely comedy or comedic horror.
I enjoyed it.
That's a good one.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, but definitely the boy meets girl. But the right boy for her was there the whole time. That's my most hated trope. I hate that thing, and especially because I'm such a fan of romantic comedies. Like I like good ones. When I see that, I'm automatically like, this movie sucks. Can't stand.
I'm gonna go off by myself for horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's split up. I will go over here.
Let's go upstairs.
Oh, that one's bad. I call that the Scooby-Doo trope. Let's split up. Velma, you and Shaggy go check out the downstairs. Me and Daphne are going to be upstairs, not doing anything that you need to know about. That you need to know about. I hate that.
Oh, that's funny.
Hate it so much. Like, but again, that's still my worst one. Is like, don't patronize me. And I feel like
for real.
Like, oh, it was Bob's been her best friend since 3rd grade. It's Bob. He's the real guy. Steve was just there. Because Steve is handsome.
Yep.
I hate it.
Blonde-haired, blue-eyed jock.
Yeah, I hate it. But then, the little nerdy guy, he was there the whole time. That's actually why I really like the Ryan Reynolds comedy, Just Friends. Because it's like, oh, that backfired on you because now he looks like Ryan Reynolds. Ha!
Ha! That's true.
You lose, but you also win, Amy Smart. You also win. Because he's still Ryan Reynolds.
That is true.
I
Lively is the real winner.
Yes, I'm very much a man who's comfortable enough in his sexuality to tell you when an actor is a handsome devil or not. And that Ryan Reynolds, that's a handsome devil right there.
He is a handsome devil, as is, I think you would agree, Big J, Idris Elba. Sexy man. He's a good-looking man.
Idris Elba. You mean the next James Bond? That's I love that guy.
If there is a Lord, he will be the next James Bond.
Please, can I have it now? Can I have that now? That would be amazing. Oh my God, he would be
so good.
He would be the baddest ass James Bond that's ever been.
Mm-hmm. And he'd blow everybody out of the water. Honestly,
he's so badass. Like he's so cool, man. Mm-hmm. Like you look at Idris Elba, he's just like, I'm Idris Elba. I'm cooler than you. How you doing today? Yeah, all right. I'm cooler than you. Yeah, I already know you're cooler than me, man. You don't have to rub it in, man. And you're better looking than me.
As long as he doesn't talk about how he's a gunslinger.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, he's about to be in the mountain between us, with the Queen. So that's going to be interesting.
Gee, I wonder if they're going to end up together.
They better not.
I know they better not.
Here's the thing. I saw the trailer yesterday. Apparently, she's about to be married. So no, I don't think so.
That's true. That could very well happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened that way, but I would be refreshed if that happened that way.
That's actually what I really liked. Have you guys seen Chris Evans' directorial debut?
No, it's on Netflix though, right? With the other girl.
And it's Alice Eve. Alice Eve from Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
I'm really good with actors and actresses. Yeah, I do that. That's not part of the William doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I know.
I was. What is her name?
Alice Eve.
The gal. No. The gal from Jessica Jones. I thought that was her. So
Kristen Ritter. Oh yeah, no, it's not her.
Oh no. The sister.
Oh yeah, no, it's not her.
Yeah, no, it's not her. Alice Eve. Well, you mentioned it was your birthday yesterday. Again, happy birthday. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to know, since it was your birthday yesterday, what is your favorite movie from the year you were born? If
Okay.
you want to give away how old you are.
No, I don't mind doing that because I mean everybody knows because there's actually on my letterbox and on FilmSnobReviews.com right now you can read a top 10 films from 1987, which is one of the greatest cinematic years there has ever been. And my favorite movie from 1987 is The Princess Bride.
Oh, girl.
Good movie.
Good choice.
I know, right? But when I tell you the other things that are on that list, you're going to be like, that's a damn good year. Like 1987 was an amazing year. That's what people don't realize. And I was born in that year. So that's how old I am, guys. I'm old. Thanks very much. I appreciate
But
that.
not as old as Big J.
No.
From what I understand, no one is. So.
No, well, that's the thing is there are a lot of youngins in the cinephile community, and I think that kind of starting this cinephile film club, we sort of wanted to get not to discriminate against the young kids, but get people that were a little older, closer to our age, to get on the show and to give their opinions and stuff, because it feels like everybody just sort of says, "Oh, this is the best movie ever," but we want to put context to that. We want to get to know the older people on Instagram. Because we thought for a long time it was just us.
I play a little older than I am because I like classic films. So I play a little bit older than I am. But here, I'll run down the list I have right here for you guys if you want, since I have it handy.
Yes.
Number 10 on my list was La Bamba. I'm Hispanic.
Annie will be happy.
I'm Hispanic, so naturally La Bamba goes in the top 10 of every conversation ever. So...
I could. La Bamba, I think, is a movie that when I was a kid, because I saw it when it first came out. I saw it in the theater when I was a kid, and it kind of traumatized me, I think, against flying, because I for the rest of my life. Because there's that scene where his friend gets crushed by the airplane.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I don't think I would ever wanted to fly. So I think I was traumatized from that as a little kid.
I can see why, honestly. That's why I'm not a driver. I get traumatized by driving, so I get anxiety being behind a wheel of a car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's weird, right? No.
Well, I'm paranoid when anybody else is the driver but me, so I can chauffeur you around.
I appreciate that. I would appreciate that. I will need that. Thank you very much. Number 9 on my list was Moonstruck because it's Moonstruck, and I love Moonstruck, and I will fight anyone who doesn't.
Snap out of it.
Exactly. I just want you. I just want you. I love you. I love you so much. Snap out of it. I love it. It's so good. I love that movie.
What's that thing? You call it eggy in a hole, right? Or toad in a basket or whatever.
Well,
What'd you call it? Egg in a basket.
Toad
whatever.
In a hole. It's
like it's an egg in the middle of a piece of toast with the middle of the piece of toast cut out and the egg in the middle.
Yeah,
My mom always called that Moonstruck Surprises.
I like that.
Because that's what they make in the movie.
Yeah, I like that. No, I actually, that's what I'm going to start calling it now. Number 8 was The Lost Boys.
Classic. Got to watch it every year at Halloween.
That's right. Santa Clara. Love it.
Oh,
Vampire capital of the world. I love it. Number 7, Predator.
Good. Okay. Good choice. Good choice. Yeah. Good selection of movies so far.
Dirty Dancing at number 6.
Oh, so good. Nobody puts Baby in a corner.
Nobody.
And Fall Out Boy made an album with all those different quotes as songs.
They really did, yes. I love that album. It's a great album. It is. A little less 16 Candles, a little more Touch Me. It's a great album.
When you said, I want to be known for just not just my hits, or my hits, not just my misses, I was like, oh, I don't know if you heard me go, oh, but I was oh, that's a Fall Out Boy quote. Calm down.
I did that on purpose, actually, because I figured you liked Fall Out Boy. Usually when you like Panic at the Disco, that follows with it. Number 5 is Spaceballs.
I mean, is there a better parody movie? I don't think so.
Blazing Saddles. But that's also Mel
We ain't found shit.
I love Blazing Saddles. Number 4, Wall Street. Oh, list.
Interesting choice.
Yes, I love Wall Street. So it's Oliver Stone's one of his best movies. RoboCop at 3.
Cool. Good choice. Any commentary on that one? You look
RoboCop?
excited?
Oh, I love RoboCop.
It's RoboCop.
It's RoboCop.
Number 2, The Untouchables, because it's my favorite Kevin Costner movie, and I love Kevin Costner. So I mean, no explanation needed. Oh, and also they have a Battleship Potemkin scene in that movie. It's a homage to Battleship Potemkin, which I like. Because, again, classic film nerd. Thank you. Actually, this number one, which is The Princess Bride, will be celebrating its 30th anniversary here in a few days. It came out September 25th, 1987.
Oh,
Did you
really?
just find your film Friday?
Yeah.
We may just have found our T-Gilf.
There you go. But a little bit of information. A movie not on this list. I'm going to give you some that weren't on this list. Platoon, Evil Dead 2, Raising Arizona, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and a film that came out the day after I was born on September 20th, 1987, Fatal Attraction.
Ooh.
It was a good year.
Yes. I think G-Reels just posted that was its 30th anniversary, so
Yeah.
good choices. You've got a lot of different genres of stuff there.
Well, and that's the thing. I like a lot of different movies, but of course the number one movie had to be a romantic one, didn't it?
It did.
It did.
Oh,
What is
yes.
what is the line?
Why not go with the best?
Right? What is the line? There have only been 4 kisses in the history of the world that have been granted perfect. Right? Is that the line?
I think so.
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah. I know I'm good with quotes. I'm good with like quoting the movie. I'm not good at like remembering where they're from. But yeah, I mean, are you guys familiar with Battleship Potemkin at all?
I can't recall. If I've seen it. Have you, Big J?
I may have. I've seen a lot.
It's
I've forgotten that I've seen a lot of movies.
It's,
sometimes once I start to watch it, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this.
it's a Sergei Eisenstein movie from 1925, and there's an homage in The Untouchables. You guys familiar with that scene where they're about to try and catch Capone on that staircase, and that baby carriage starts falling down?
Mm-hmm.
That's the homage to Eisenstein, because in that film, the mother gets trampled on by a group of because it's a Russian film, so she gets trampled on by a group of people leaving all in through this one door, and as she gets trampled on, her baby carriage falls down the steps in slow motion.
Right.
Yeah, so that homage to me I always like that, because again I like old movies, and then for a guy for a film like that to pull that out of its hat is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, 87 was a good year. So.
It was, yes.
I've got a sizable little list of things you've recommended to us. So it's good, because we've pretty much had that with every person we've had on the show, giving us things that we either haven't heard of or stuff we want to revisit. So I think pretty much every movie that we've put down, except for Singing in the Rain, I haven't seen. So interesting list of stuff here, William.
So far,
So
yeah.
you were just talking about
Yes.
Yeah, you were just talking about quotes, and we've talked about quotes a lot. You can quote Liar Liar, you can quote a lot of Empire Strikes Back, you can obviously quote The Untouchables, Princess Bride. So I'm going to ask you, what are some of your absolute favorite movie quotes?
See, and this is where I get like tongue-tied, or I can't think about my favorite quotes, because I the whole time I'm not thinking about my favorite quotes. But if I had to really give you one, probably when Kristen Dunst is talking to Tom Wilkinson in Eternal Sunshine, she goes over the play that the film is named after, and I have to look up the quote because I don't remember it. I don't remember it at all, but I think it's "The world forgiven by the world forgot, eternal sunshine of the spotless mind," and she's basically, that whole scene encapsulates what the movie kind of is, and basically that whole movie for me is a movie that I will often quote. But another one I like is from 500 Days of Summer, where Chloe Grace Moretz plays Jessica Gordon-Levitt's little sister, and she says, "Do you fall in love with every girl who likes the same weirdo crap as you?" And I always laugh at that, because I always think that's funny. Like it's really funny. Like he kind of does, and he does this hipster cool thing, that is the soul of the movie. Also, Clementine whispering "Meet me in Montauk" at the end of Eternal Sunshine, I chills every single time. Every single time. I don't care. I will cry. It's amazing. Also, this is one I live by. "Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders," is one that I will often see myself quoting because it's so good. It's a good quote. But yeah, a lot of that movie is quote worthy. A lot of I really like romantic gestures, romantic sweeping gestures, because again, I'm a softie. So when Julia Roberts does the "I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy wanting her to love him," I love that scene in Notting Hill. I love it so very much. So
It's the best part of that movie.
That movie's great though. No, okay. You watch it, Lola. That's a great movie.
Not a fan.
Really? Why? Wait, hold on. No, we have to talk about this. Why?
Well, I think we saw it a couple of years ago because Big J and I have been together a long time. So, like he said, we've seen a lot of movies together. But that was one where I think we watched a couple Julia Roberts movies in a very short time. I know we watched Runaway Bride. I know we rewatched Pretty Woman. And Notting Hill was just, I don't know if it was the chemistry between her and what's his name? Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, yeah.
Hugh Grant. And it didn't vibe with me. Like, I didn't like it. I'd be willing to go watch it again, but it just didn't do it for me. The Notebook is one where I was like, okay, yeah, I get that, but Notting Hill, I don't get it.
I get it. I found that question on your list, and I found the quotes I wrote down, and I'm going to give them to you now. Okay.
Oh, good. Okay.
They're all romantic, kind of. And the first one is it's Miss Kubelik from The Apartment when she says, "Shut up and deal." I love that. Just like, stop flattering me, shut up and deal. I love that. That's the last line in the movie. From Bram Stoker's Dracula, when Gary Oldman says, "I have crossed oceans of time to find you." And he does it with such Malay, like, "I will get you." Oh, and then this one's for you, Lolo. What do you want? Do you want the moon? Just say the word, and I'll throw a lasso around and pull it down.
That's what I'll do.
I'll
give you the moon.
I'll give you the moon. That's one of my favorites. I love that one. And then I'm a huge, I don't like period pieces, but I like some period pieces. So I came here with no expectations, only to profess now that I am at liberty to do so, that my heart is yours and always will be yours. Sense and Sensibility.
Spear in Love? Oh, okay, that one.
And then Lord of the Rings, I would rather share one lifetime with you than face all the ages of this world alone.
Yeah. Aww.
That one's good.
Lord of the Rings makes me cry.
It's amazing. Why wouldn't it? It's so good, right? And also Amélie, which is one of my favorite foreign films. Without you, today's emotions would be the scruff of yesterday's. Big fan.
Good movie. I feel like it got a lot of love for a time, Amélie, and then it sort of petered out. And nobody talks about it anymore, but it's so good.
Yeah, I get it, but again, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, and then
speaking of foreign films,
we'll get to that. But just to end quote, I'm going to end it with a quote from her. But the heart's not like a box that gets filled up. It expands the size the more you love. That's a quote from her.
I want to watch her now.
You were saying about foreign films.
Oh, I mean, it's like swish, you know what I mean? You're setting them right up for us. So you said Amélie. How about any other favorite foreign films? And is there a specific country whose cinema you love the most?
So my favorite foreign film is In the Mood for Love. It's so good. Kar Wai-young is literally a genius in Hong Kong cinema, and I don't know why John Woo is often considered like the best director from Hong Kong, because I think that Kar Wai-young is the best. He also did what is it? Chungking Express. Chungking Express. Is that the title? Chungking Express?
Yeah, Chungking Express.
Yeah, there it is. But he directed this. In the Mood for Love is an absolutely breathtaking film. I love it. I'm not a huge fan of Hong Kong cinema because a lot of it's John Woo action movies with doves everywhere. And I don't like that, but I love In the Mood for Love. But my favorite country would be, and this one goes out to you, Oracle, Australia. I love Australia. I think they have so many great thrillers. Snowtown, Hounds of Love, which came out this year. The Babadook, of course. Jennifer Kent's The Babadook, which is absolutely brilliant look at both grief and post-traumatic stress disorder. Mm-hmm. People don't realize that it's not really a horror movie; it's more of a thriller. I love Australian cinema. Crocodile Dundee is amazing. I know it's cliche. That's not a knife. That's a knife. I love it.
QAnon in the chat says Fallen Angels is my favorite by Wong, and I noticed that he did the Grandmaster,
He did.
which we saw in the theater. We
Oh
did
yeah.
not enjoy that movie, but I want to see In the Mood for Love now that you've suggested it.
Another movie he did that I actually like that gets a lot of hate is My Blueberry Night with Nora Jones.
Oh, and Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. I love that movie. The aesthetic of it is so beautiful, but it gets a lot of hate for the performances. Because I mean, yeah, Nora Jones is a little flat, and I feel like Natalie Portman's mailing it in a little bit, but it's great. It's a great movie, and I love it. I love Wong, and he's right. Fallen Angels is great.
Is Nora Jones's performance in My Blueberry Nights flatter than like Rihanna and Valerian or any other singer, Jennifer Lopez in The Boy Next Door, any other actor who's a singer that tried acting and wasn't really good at it?
No, it's better than those because I think that Wong directs her well enough to an admirable performance, but I just think that the material is too much for her as an actress.
Okay, interesting. Because I had that. I feel like when I did such things, I think I downloaded that on my computer like when it came out and then never watched it. So we'll have to find that on Netflix or someplace like that now.
It's gonna be very hard to find it, but it's a good movie. It's a great flick. I really like.
We'll track it down.
Yeah, and by the way, I am setting you up because I know I have the questions in front of me and I kind of know where I want to go. So
You did, and very much appreciated. Like I told you off air, we didn't want this to be like, oh, number one, what's this? Number two, what's this? Kind of just go with the flow of the conversation and get back to the roots and have a conversation as people and film lovers. And I feel like we have accomplished that here today, don't you, Big J?
I do. Yes.
So in one place I didn't get to go in this conversation that I wanted to go, and I was trying to get you guys there the whole time.
What was it?
Number 22. What is your favorite soundtrack and your favorite score?
Oh, well, tell us, and we'll end on that note.
I love it because, like I mentioned earlier, music is like really important for me because I'm a huge music fan. I used to be a musician, so in my younger days. But here's the thing: when you think of, let me ask you guys, what is your favorite soundtracks, so that we can kind of get a grasp of it. What is your guys' favorite soundtrack?
This isn't a Q&A for us. It's a Q&A for you.
That's called flipping the script, Lolo. Flipping the script.
I'm on the spot. Oh, God. Okay. Soundtrack or score?
Both. Because I have my answer in front of me, so.
I've made it worse for myself and yourself. I mean, I hate to say it sound as cliche as it is, but La La Land just recently is one of the ones that stuck with me. Good Time this year.
Good Time was a really good score.
And The Guest, I think I'm loving those like techno pop.
Oh my
God. Horror soundtracks, yeah.
The Guest is so good, especially when that song after she finds out who David is, that song Antonio. Oh my God, that song is good. You guys know what the song I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
The one that goes, my Antonio, my Antonio. Yeah, it's a great song, man. Oh, I love it. I love the Guest sound.
As far as soundtracks, though, like with actual music, I mean, again, cliche, but The Big Chill, I think, is one of the best soundtracks ever made, put together. It's amazing, just all the songs. And like I said, this is like the top of my head. I haven't thought about it list. So, have you thought of anything?
No, I mean,
Answer, damn it.
I love the Guardian soundtrack. I like all the John Carney soundtracks too. I like those original songs in those movies. I really like.
Oh yeah, I used to cover Falling Slowly, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I love that movie. I love that song so much. It's so good. But I have my list, and you guys want to hear?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start off with 500 Days of Summer, which has an amazing soundtrack that includes one of the best Hall & Oates songs that's ever been written, and You Make My Dreams Come True. Come on. Sweet Disposition is on there. That's a great song. It's just a great soundtrack. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist is a soundtrack that doesn't get enough love, but it's a great soundtrack. After Hours is on there by I forget the band, but Devendra Banhart, Lover is on there. That's a great song. I really love Nick and Nora as a movie. It doesn't get enough love. Michael Cera's only good performance, really, besides himself in This Is the End, which doesn't count. But my favorite
Arrested Development.
Yeah, well, that doesn't count because it's not a movie, so it doesn't count. We're not talking about
That's true.
TV here. No, I really like La La Land. I swear to God, Somewhere in the Crowd is always in my head, and Another Day of Sun is always in my head. I like literally, I'll be just sitting there. I'll be like, "You got the invitation, you got the right address." Just out of nowhere. Why am I doing that? I don't know why I'm doing that. But my favorite soundtrack is going to be Garden State. Garden
Good
State
choice.
is an absolutely brilliant soundtrack to an absolutely unbelievable film. From Coldplay, Iron and Wine's cover of the Postal Service. I just can't get Over You by Colin Hay. There's every song on there, and then of course you get the two Shin songs. You know that Shin song in the middle of that movie is one of the best uses of music that I've ever seen. I love that movie so much, and the music makes the whole thing. What is that song where they're after he smokes the weed, and then everything moves in slow mo, and he's kind of just sitting there. It's what is it? I don't remember. Lebanese Blonde. That's it. That song is amazing. Every song on that soundtrack. Are you guys familiar with this soundtrack at all?
A little. I know I'm more familiar with the Shin song from his other movie, Wish I Was Here.
Oh yeah, good one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that song. So Now What? That's pretty much, I
Yeah.
think, one of the best uses of a Shin song ever. But
No,
Garden
yeah.
State, I think people would disagree because Garden State's the one, you know?
I mean, the second you hear that, ooh, right through the headphones, you're just like, yes, oh my God, that's so cool. That's so cool. Like, Zach Braff is freaking, he's so good. Like, he's not a good director, like a great director, but he has moments where he's just like, holy shit, man. Like, I love that scene in Wish You Were Here where Josh Gad, who's playing his brother and is a furry, is at the convention and he meets that girl. I love that whole scenario. Like, there's scenes like that where he's just a genius. There's some great scenes in that movie he did this year with the three old guys. There's some moments in there where I'm
Going in Style?
yeah, where in Going in Style, there's some moments there I'm just like, man, all right, Zach, it's your first shot at the mainstream and you didn't entirely disappoint me. Nice.
It was a surprisingly good movie.
It's not great, but it's not bad. It's not a train wreck I thought it was, because that's a remake. People don't know that's a remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We watched the original before we saw the remake, and I think they're both really good.
Yeah, they're both
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
Different, but, you know.
I actually like the remake a little better.
Yeah. And I mean, it's hard to beat the charms of Michael Caine, Alan Arkin, and Morgan Freeman. It's hard to beat that charm.
It's
Yeah.
very true.
They're three very charming older gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
I know women are my age that would be all over Michael Caine right now. Because he's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
He's Michael Caine. Hello, I'm Michael Caine. How are you today? Yes. Yeah. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yes.
I'm not bad with accents, but I'm not good, okay?
I just remembered a soundtrack I did buy and I did own.
Oh, End of
And-
Days.
No, it's not End of Days.
I had that one.
But it could be
The
just
Crow?
as cheesy. The movie itself is just as cheesy.
The Crow?
But I love the soundtrack, and it's the album is "It's Kind of Magic" by Queen,
Of course.
and the movie is of course Highlander.
Oh, God.
And so I love the soundtrack.
Good soundtrack, though.
I
Oh,
love the soundtrack. You can actually listen to that soundtrack, and it's like almost watching the movie because all those songs are written for the movie.
Yeah.
I want to point out Singles and Reality Bites as well, because Reality Bites has Lisa Loeb on it, and Lisa Loeb is I love her.
Singles. I would love to rewatch Singles. It's been so long.
I-
Singles.
The knowledge pool runs deep here, okay?
Reality Bites. Man, you're giving us a breadth of things here. Tapping deep, I think. Well,
You need
that's
to
what
go
she
listen to
said,
that. You need to go listen to that Shin song when we get done.
I know. It sounds like I'm being scolded for choosing the other one.
You are.
And that's okay. He's like, I'm silently judging you.
No, I'm not
Well,
silently.
William.
I'm doing it out loud.
How dare you? I'm thinking out loud. Thank you very much for being on our Get to Know a Cinephile segment. I, for one, feel a little more enlightened about old school movies because you've named some things we had never even heard of in this chat here. And I'm glad you agreed to do this. This was great. And is there anything else you want to answer before you shout out all of your social media website type stuff? Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I mean, I think we nailed some good questions, some stuff I'm happy that I got to answer. I answered more. Some of the questions I put on here, most of the ones I really filled out were the ones you guys asked anyways, because again, I kind of guided you towards the ones I had filled out already.
You did.
Except for worst sequel ever, which I put Caddyshack 2 because that's the correct answer.
Oh yeah.
That's a good sequel.
Yeah. So, but yeah, other than that, no, I'm ready to, shamelessly plug all of my things. That's what she said.
Please, please. Well, you could have said holes, but you didn't. So there you go. It's not that bad. Go ahead and plug all of your websites
Of course.
and social media things.
So, of course, I would love for everyone listening, I don't know how many of you are listening, but all of you who are listening to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. You can like us at FilmSnobReviews. Please don't hesitate to hit us up at www.filmsnobreviews.com and check out our reviews. Me and my staff are doing great work talking about the latest releases while also putting out some really cool articles. We just put out a really cool article about the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks, which I've never seen in my life. Don't scold me. I don't watch TV. But it's a great article from when I actually read the article, it made me want to go see the show. So I would recommend that. As far as that, we also have a YouTube channel. It's in its infancy now. We're not doing too much there yet. We have some countdowns of movie musicals. We have the top 5 musicals per decade, and also we're talking about the 1001 greatest movies that that you have to see before you die, based on the book, because we have the book, and we're going from each page over each movie in like a 2 or 3 minute snippet, telling you why you need to see it or whatever. It's really fun. Everybody should go do that.
It's a great book.
It is. It's very large. Also, another great book I'm reading right now is Backwards and in Heels. You guys should check that one out. It's the past, present, and future of women working in film. Check that out, guys. Yes, check it out if you haven't. It's a great book. But yeah, other than that, I mean, check us out. I try to be as how do I put this? Least like myself on the internet as possible, because I am a ball of energy, as you guys can probably see from this conversation. I would love to have you guys over there, though, because the more conversations we have, the better. And, of course, Lolo and everybody will be joining us on Friday on Instagram for our weekly 5 Films Friday. And I think we've got some great choices this week. And I think everybody should check that out by liking us on Insta. Try to get us to at least 1,500 by the end of the week, so that we have 1,500 people to show off our 5 Films Friday on. Other than that, thanks for having me again, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Go check out my website, guys. We love you. Oh, we have a Patreon. Give us money. We need money. Give us money.
I know we've thought about doing Patreon too, and then we didn't ever do it yet. But I think that it's a good way to support people who are interested in the industry and who are doing good things. You guys do good things over at Film Snob Reviews.
Thank you. I would like to start paying my guys.
Yeah.
No, they deserve it. They do great work. Just give me money, please. We have some really cool perks. One of them is that you get to pick a movie for us to review if you're at the $20 threshold. If you're at the $10 threshold. So giving us $10 a month,
nice.
You get every month one film that we have to review, and it can be any movie you want. And you can pick whether we write it or shoot it on video. I'll do either one. I don't care. But we need your support. We love your support. We'd love to have you guys. If you guys are fans of Lolo and she's vouching for us, we must be doing something right? So hit us up. Maybe give us some money. Thanks a lot. No, give us some money. We're like Spaceballs 2. We're in a search for more money. So there you go.
The search for more money, which I hope comes out soon.
It's never going to happen. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it's never going to happen. It's been 30 years. It should have happened already. I wish. But yeah,
Is it worth $10 to get him to see the Garbage Pail Kids?
Maybe.
Oh, please. You know what? It's worth $10 to me to sit through it. I will sit through the Garbage Pail. I told you there's no movie I won't watch. Did I not say that?
That is true. He did say that.
Here's the thing. I'm going to put a new tier. And it's going to be it's going to be what I call a Serbian film.
Oh.
For $200, I will watch a Serbian film, and you get to watch my reactions.
Oh God.
That's what I'll do.
Oh boy. Well, we won't put you through that torture, but William, again, thank you very much for joining us. This was a lot of fun, and I think you are a very well-rounded, not only movie fan, but movie reviewer as well. You seem to leave no stone unturned, and we appreciate that about you. And again, we identify with you because we don't lie either. So no matter if something sucks, we'll tell you. Or if you love it, we'll tell you. We admire that about you.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And just a little note, we will be back with our normally scheduled program on Saturday afternoon. We're going to see Kingsman, the second one, whatever, about Golden Circles. There you go. We're going to see Friends Request on Saturday morning before the show, hopefully, so you don't have to.
Don't do it.
Also going... I know. It looks terrible. But we're also going to see American Assassin. So we'll have those reviews coming at you on Saturday. And we might have another Get to Know a Cinephile next week, since we missed a couple weeks here and there. So again, William, thank you. Go check out FilmSnobReviews.com and follow him all over social media. And we will see you guys on Saturday. Anything else, Big J?
Thank you for listening.
And thank you very much, William. Bye!